Advocates for seniors are worried about funding as several nursing homes are at risk of closing this year due to financial struggles. I sat down with State Representative Angelo Puppolo to learn more about funding and the broader issue of caring for our elderly loved ones.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, obviously, we're concerned about the recent closures of about 20 nursing homes last year, and I think they're projecting potentially to be 35 more closing this year within the Commonwealth. So very concerned about that. We're looking at funding. We're doing our budget in the House next week. We're starting the initial process. The governor put forth his House 1. But we're actually going through the process now. So the House of Representatives will be debating that next week, and then the Senate will take up theirs in May, and we'll give the final sort of product after a conference committee to the governor sometime in June. But we're looking at, putting $30 million in, at least, to emergency money to try to, keep these nursing homes going, and making sure that they're, short-term financially stable as much as we can. The key to that is also putting together a task force to make sure that we're going to look at a state level to study in terms of what the problems are, what we can do for long term. And again, I mean, I think the budget fix right now is going to be short term, to a certain degree, but we need to look at long term sustainability. And I think the task force, this emergency task force, when it gets put together, we're going to have experts across the field, financial experts, continuum of care experts and such, to make sure that, they're going to be financially stable so we're not back in this position another year from now or 6 months from now.
And wasn't there just a short-term $25 million that was put towards nursing homes back in the fall?
Yeah, I mean, it's an ongoing battle. I mean, the problem becomes is that, it's expensive. The day-to-day operations are expensive. The day-to-day living is expensive. And, that model has worked. But I think, we're also looking and trending towards, having seniors stay in their homes as long as we can. So, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, those that need the care, certainly have got to have that care. Maybe they can't stay at home anymore. Maybe there's nobody at home that could take care of them. So we have to make sure that there are plans for that. But not only in Massachusetts, but the trend across the country is to have seniors stay in their homes as long as we possibly can, as long as they're able to stay in there. We're devoting funding and programs to that as well. So we're trying to keep it balanced because we know the value. We're hearing from not only seniors but family members, and rightfully so. I mean, if the person could stay in their home, a comfortable environment, maybe have meals delivered, the Meals on Wheels programs and the such, and have the care come to them, it's a much better model than having them go to the care.
But certainly with the closings of nursing homes, you have to be hearing from people too who are, equally as concerned, because the level of care obviously at a nursing home is different than, keeping seniors in their home as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, depending on, like I said, the need for the care.
Right.
So if someone needs care, they can't stay at home, we have to have the facility there for them. So there's a lot of things that have to be, put into the equation, and that's why, I don't think we're going to do away, obviously, with nursing homes, and that's why we're looking at this task force to make sure we study long term to make sure the viability is there. But we also have to, they have to look at the model. I mean, what worked 10, 15, even 5 years ago is not necessarily going to work certainly today, and it's not going to work 10, 5, or 15 years in the future.
And I think some people, when you talk about the funding and you start talking about the quality of care, I know that nursing homes have definitely been in the news as far as, issues in terms of quality of care. Obviously, the funding plays into that, and advocates say, well, listen, if we had more funding, we could have, the right people on the job caring for our seniors.
Well, I think, with the funding goes, sort of mandatory minimum pay so you can attract the better quality. But I don't want to alarm anybody. I think, the quality care in most nursing homes across the Commonwealth is good, very good. So I think, we have to make sure that, if someone has to go to the nursing home, it's not a bad place per se. The quality of care is there. Many of the staffers that work in the nursing homes are dedicated people. They love their jobs. They love taking care of people, and that's critically important. But again, we need to make sure that, these homes are sustainable financially. And I mean, that's the biggest point. I mean, when you look at, some of the Medicaid, Medicare in particular, the reimbursements, it's important that not only they're able to sustain, the daily rates and the cost of operating, but to make sure that they continue to attract quality staff and people that are going to be dedicated and continue to work. But we have to make sure that we're funding the homes, at least from what we can do on a state perspective. I mean, we can't do, nor are we going to be able to do 100%, nowhere near that. But I think what we need to look at is making sure that any federal reimbursements that they qualify for on a federal level, they're dealing with that. But more importantly, on a state level, what we can do and help them financially and look at both short and long-term, liability and viability is critically important.
And so that task force will be looking at reimbursements as far as the nursing homes go on the state level, and looking at the funding, formula, which some people have said is a little bit outdated.
Yeah, I think we're going to, they're going to dive into that. The task force is part of, we're in a formation process of it, so they haven't been fully charged. But I think that, it's safe to say that the main functions are going to be looking at the financial status of it, what the programs are, what the reimbursement rates are, and how we can, maybe pay either more, for more care, and also, sort of mandate what, some of the requirements are, some of the reporting requirements, some of the other, issues that the nursing homes face on a day-to-day basis. But it's something that, I think is long overdue. I think other states have tackled with this problem as well. But Massachusetts, we're going to go at it head on. And I think, once the task force comes back with their report and their findings, I think we're going to have a much clearer picture of what needs to be done, again, both short and long term.